Hey everybody, welcome back to Close Up with Jesus. This is episode seven. We should look this up beforehand, but we don't.
Yeah, it's whatever number that
It's
is.
whatever number we're in now.
But I'm here. Hello.
Kellen's here today. Woo! Today we are going to be talking about, here we go, living water. What is living water? Kelton came up with the idea for today, and I'm excited.
Well, technically you did, because, I mean, that's what you were teaching on Sunday, and I was just like, we should just go a little further into it.
Dig a little deeper.
And Ethan actually taught the same exact thing, in a way.
He did. We didn't plan it at all. It just happened. Go watch it. It's posted.
We honestly don't really plan with anything. We came up with this last night.
Shh. We're not supposed to tell that. No, we do. Sometimes it's last minute, but we always figure it out, and then we figure it out throughout the day, and we get it.
And other
down.
times there's ones where we've had it since the last Tuesday.
Mm-hmm. Or even before.
And then we forget about
it. So we are going to open up with the classic, not classic, but
the classic story.
Yeah, classic story when we think of living water. So when Jesus, so fun little history fact time, the Jews when they were traveling, they would go around a land called Sumeria, because they didn't want to have anything to do with the Samaritans. And I think I was looking for the map, aren't you?
That was the map. I have the well.
Oh, you have the well. But the Jews, instead of going through, they would go around. But Jesus, for some reason, to the disciples insisted they have to go through, and that's when we think about the woman at the well, right? And Kelton's got a picture of said well.
This is, as far as they could tell, the actual well that was talked in the Bible. And, yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. So when they went through, Jesus sits at the well, and this is just kind of little snippet version. He's at the well, and then he asks of the woman who comes at the well, and this is about around midday. Women get their water early in the morning. If you go around midday, it means
it's super hot in the middle of the day. They're basically in a desert.
Yeah. It's like, if you're going in the middle of the day, there's something wrong with you. And she's an outcast. And then she asks him, why? Because the Jews don't deal with the Samaritans. And then that's when we go to John chapter 4, verse 10. Do you want to read it? Want me to read it?
I got it.
Okay.
Jesus answered and said unto her, If thou knewest the gift of God, and who it is that saith to thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldest have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman saith unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. From whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob, which gave us the well, and drank thereof himself, and his children, and his cattle? Jesus answered and said unto her, Whosoever drinketh of this water shall thirst again, but whosoever drinketh of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst, but the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water springing up into everlasting life.
Wowza.
Mouthful. But, so, obviously, water isn't actually living. A lot of the time, Jesus spoke in parables, and so this is just basically a metaphor. Water on its own, we need water to live. We're actually made up of over 60% of water, so majority of your body is water. But the living water, the actual question that we came up with is, what is living water? We are the living water. That's at least how I'm thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
Because then in, which one was that?
I'd like to expand on that. Is that not just that we are the living water, but what is in us is the living water. That's yeah, because you said it earlier before we started, and I've been thinking about that. It's more so, because I think it's not more so ourselves, but it's what's coming out of us.
Because, I mean, even you can't have the living, which will come in later in one of these verses. We are the living. No, sorry. The living water doesn't come through us until we are saved.
Yeah.
That's how I'm like understanding it.
We see that in John chapter 7, verse, what is that? 37. We see it because Jesus says that. They're at a feast, a great feast. This is 37. In the last day, that great day of the feast, Jesus stood and cried, saying, If any man thirst, let him come unto me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. It says if you're thirsty, because we're all thirsty. I said that Sunday morning. We're all thirsty for something. Mm-hmm. It's a matter of where are you coming to get your
where are you getting where are you quenching your thirst from?
Mm-hmm. And it says right there, let him come to me and drink. He that believeth on me, as the scripture hath said, out of his belly shall flow rivers of living water. So again, we see that instance, that metaphor, the parable, living water coming out of someone.
Right. And then, so, with that right there, the Bible tells us in Matthew 5 that we are supposed to be the salt of the earth. Matthew 5:13. Ye are the salt of the earth, but if the salt have lost his savour, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and to be trodden under foot of men. So, with that verse, and then John 7:37 through 38, if we're saved and we have this living water flowing through us and it's coming out of us like we're pouring over, like our cup is filling over, you know? Mm-hmm. And somebody else over here who's not saved, they're able to come and, weird metaphor terminology here, but drink from us, right?
We're able to give them the living water that we got from God for them to drink so that they can be full.
Right. And now I can't say Ryan is the one not saved, right? And I am. There's water flowing through me. I can't force this down his throat. This is the water. Can't force it down his throat. But I can make him salty for it not salty for it, but I can give him some salt.
Make me thirsty.
And I can make him thirsty, and then he'll want what I have. Which is, I don't know. I lost track of what I was saying.
It happens. Yeah, we are supposed to let God flow through us. God is the water that flows out of us. We are the vessel. We're the cup. In Psalms, we're going to pull up on the screen because it's just a little verse. Psalms chapter 23, verse 6. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will... Oh, sorry, not verse 6, verse 5. Thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. So God's going to bless you when you're following when you're supposed to do, and the living water's flowing through you. Your cup's going to run over, and you are going to, if you're living the way you're supposed to, you're going to make other people thirsty for what you have, and then they're going to follow the Lord, right? And that's the ultimate goal.
And now, the river can this is a bad way to say it, but could theoretically dry up, right?
Yeah,
if you have less water, then people you're not going to want to build a ranch around a creek that's continuously drying up.
Yeah. Matthew, we just read it. Verse 13, chapter 5. But if the salt has lost its savor, wherewith shall it be salted? It is thenceforth good for nothing, but to be cast out and be trodden under the foot of men. It's not just saying, hey, you're good for something. No, if you aren't following the Lord, right, and if you are losing its savor, if you're turning away continuously...
If you're
drying up continuously, you need to fix that. Because it's saying right there, hey, salt, when it loses its savor and it's no longer salty, what do we do with it? We get rid of it. God won't be able to use you. He's not going to be able to use you like he wants to if you don't let him.
And if you're drying up, the reason you're drying up could be you're falling into one of your addictions and they're saying that, hey, they're just as bad as me. Why can't, or blah, 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 you know? And if you're drying up, then you're not going to be making them salty because they see they're gonna lose the source of the living water.
Yeah. It's like I said to Sunday, using Maddie as an example, using her example again. I'm not saying she does do this, but I said if Maddie rather, not me saying I do this. Let's say Maddie sees me cursing up a storm, and I'm saying I'm a Christian, right? And I'm supposed to be the salt, and I'm supposed to be the river of water, living water for her, right? If she sees me cursing, what's that doing to my living water? It's making my salt unsalty. It's making my living water flow less. And she's going to look at me and go, well, you're doing the same thing I'm doing, so why the heck do I need to stop, right?
Right.
That's what it's saying. And when you follow Christ, where is it? Hold on, guys. I think I misplaced one of my verses. I flipped them around. Here it is.
Verses.
We have a lot of verses. We're in a John a lot today. Jeez. The John chapter 12.
John talked a lot about
Verse 23.
The living water, and if he wrote, I believe it was him that wrote Revelations, the same John, he talks about the living water a lot.
Yeah. In verse 23, we see what it means to follow Jesus, right? And Jesus answered them, saying, the hour has come that the Son of Man should be glorified. Verily, verily, I say unto you, except a corn of wheat fall into the ground and die, it abideth alone, but if it die, it bringeth forth much fruit. He that loveth his life shall lose it, and he that hateth his life in this world shall keep it unto life eternal. If any man serve me, let him follow me, and where I am, there shall also my servant be. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. Now is my soul sorry, not verse 27. We're going to stop right there in verse 26. Right there, it says he's comparing us to a corn of wheat, right? What is a corn of wheat? A corn of wheat's like a seed.
Mm-hmm.
What does the seed need to do in order to bring fruit?
Needs access to soil and water.
What happens to the seed?
It sprouts.
It dies, right? So the plant can grow.
I was thinking it was already in the soil and water.
The seed, we are the seed, right? And when God gives us what we need and we grow, for us to grow, we have to let the old man die.
Mm-hmm.
If we're trying to grow with Christ, right? If we're trying to be the living water and the salt, we have to let the old man, I'm out of the frame, we have to let the old man die so the new man can be born and bring forth great fruit.
This song is so good. I'm so sorry.
The old man is dead. It's a great song. You should listen to that, guys. It's a really good song. But you have to, if you don't let the old man die, you're never going to be able to bring fruit. Or it's going to be really hard for you to bring fruit because you're not letting the seed die. And we know it. We shouldn't be scared of it, right? Because he says there in verse 25, or 26 rather, if any man serve me, let him follow me, right? So we're not supposed to follow him where the wheat corns, we're letting the old man die. And where I am, there also will my servant be. We're his servant. So we're going to be with God. We're going to be with Jesus. If any man serve me, him will my Father honor. We're going to have God honor us. That is insane to think that God in heaven, because we're following Jesus and we're doing what we're supposed to do, is going to honor us.
Well, I mean, think about it, though. Jesus gave us an example of that in whenever he washed the disciples' feet.
Yeah.
So that it wasn't necessarily a way of showing honor, I guess, but it was still something respectful that the guy who created the entire universe just washed my feet. And which that then was basically a courtesy because, I mean, they were pretty much wearing sandals all the time. And so,
yeah, your feet
and
were
they're
dusty,
in like a desert, and their houses they didn't really have, not all of them, some I'm sure, but a lot of them were just dirt ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so even in their house, they would be getting dirty sometimes.
Mm-hmm. And you would, the washing the feet was a courtesy, but he was the teacher, so they were supposed to wash his feet.
Yeah.
He was they called it, what was it? Rabbi, teacher, master. They were supposed to wash his feet, but he went down and he washed their feet, which for them, that was honor. We're kind of like, but for him, that was like massive.
Yeah. Sorry, I just had a
brain blast.
Yeah, of like, so you need, if you haven't watched it yet, you guys too, you need to watch Jesus Revolution. It's so good.
Jesus Revolution.
It's so good.
On what?
It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Give us a brand deal.
Not a sponsorship.
I'm kidding. Not a sponsorship. There are some good songs. So I will gladly advertise PureFlix. That's a great platform. Really good movies on that. And we see here a trial, sort of. It's not a commandment that we're supposed to do. in Luke chapter 9, verse 23, and he said to them all, this is Jesus talking, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily. So deny yourself, deny your flesh, take up your cross daily, and follow me. So following Jesus. For whosoever will save his life, not soul, his life shall lose it. Whoever shall, sweet Jesus in heaven, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantage if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? For whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory and in his Father's and of the holy angels. But I tell you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the kingdom of God.
So that's talking about how your river of living water can dry up, but also how you can keep it flowing.
Because it's saying, follow me, deny yourself, deny the old man, right? Deny the seed kernel, deny the world, and follow him. Take up your cross. And it says take up your cross. It's not something small and insignificant. This is an important thing. Crosses are heavy, dude. We have a cross on the stage you see every Sunday. That sucker isn't even a proper cross, and that's heavy. That thing's heavy, dude.
Taken apart, it's heavy.
Yeah. And it says, for what is a man advantage? So what do you gain if you get the whole world, everything the world has to offer? And on Sunday morning, I had a bottle full of dirty, nasty liquid, and that was the world. So you're going to gain this. What is that advantage to you? And you lose yourself, or to be cast away from Lord, from God eternal. Would you to be separate from Him? Is He separate from love, truth, justice, honor? Everything good in the world comes from God. We know that. So if you're cast away from Him, what does that mean? You're cast away from all those things, which is kind of scary. Kind of really scary, dude. To think about. We kind of talked about how when you get saved, you become a new creature, and that's when you get the living water, which, metaphorically speaking, Jesus flowing out of you.
Right.
And we see here in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 17. Therefore, if any man be in Christ, he is a new creature. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. And it's another little fun thing. I keep going back to this piece of corn, but it's another little thing of going back to the corn was the old creature, and it is gone, and the new creature is the plant that bringeth forth much fruit, right? So corn seed becomes several corns, what do you call them?
Corn cobs.
Corn cobs. I know that's not right. Something feels weird.
It makes bigger plant.
It makes a bigger plant. It makes bigger plant. Yeah, there we go. That was bad.
Oh well. I wasn't looking.
Yeah, we see that. And then I got the last little verse here from myself, and he delved into more so into the living water, and I delved into what has to happen, right, for you to get the living water.
Which is weird because we did not communicate any of this.
And we see in Galatians chapter 2, verse 19, and we're from 19 to 21. For I through the law am dead to the law, that I might live unto God. I am crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I, but Christ liveth in me. And the life which I now live in the flesh, I live by the faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. So there again we see that it's not you who is living, it's not the old man, but it's Christ living in you. And that's another thing from the living water. Living water is in you, flowing out of you. And verse 21, and I do not frustrate the grace of God, for if righteousness come by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. Right? So right there, that verse is saying, I'm not going to frustrate God in His grace, for if righteousness comes by the law, then Christ is dead in vain. It didn't matter.
Basically, He died for nothing.
Yeah, if we are being judged by the law, we're already
Because when
goners.
Jesus died on the cross, the veil was torn.
Yes.
So, and it was top to bottom, which is now, from a physiological standpoint, humans could not tear it from top to bottom because, one, that is really up high. It's pretty high. And for us to be able to rip it, it would be from bottom to top because we would tear it this way and it would continuously go up.
And that sucker was like
down.
an inch thick, dude. He was like... A curtain that thick is hard to tear. You need a knife to tear that, and that would be like somewhere in the midpoint. But then that was from the top to bottom. It was torn, and that was to signify we no longer have to have a barrier between us and God. We can go directly to it.
We no longer have to have somebody go to him for us either. So
he dies when they looks at him.
Yeah,
dude. It still gives me like freaks me out thinking about how the priests had to have bells tied around their ankles and a rope. And if they stopped hearing the bells, they just... Imagine if the guys were just standing there.
What if they just took a nap
like, he's
or
just,
something?
like, standing here like, okay, I'm not going to move, because if I move, I'm going to sneeze and turn around and see God. And then your friends just pull the freaking rope out from underneath, and you just fall, like, ugh! And you see it, and you're like, dang it. And you die.
Well, I'm going with you.
Oh. Oh, sorry, Caden. Oh, well. I'll call him after. Sorry, that was a little tangent. But, like, I just find it funny that that's how they had to talk to God, and we were just able to go, let's talk God, and we're just able to do it from wherever. It doesn't matter where we are.
Right.
Which is awesome. And he says that, actually, in John chapter 4. Where is it? Here we are, in verse 19. It makes me think of that. The woman saith unto him, Sir, I perceive that thou art a prophet. And this is after he says, you've had 5 husbands, and the one you're with now is not your husband. Verse 20, Our fathers worshipped in this mountain, and ye say that in Jerusalem is the place where men ought to worship. Jesus saith unto her, Women, believe me, the hour cometh when ye shall neither in this mountain nor yet at Jerusalem worship the Father. Ye worship ye know not what. We know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. But the hour cometh, and now is, when the true worshippers shall worship the Father in spirit and in truth. For the Father seeketh such to worship him. God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. That lets us worship him anywhere. It doesn't have to be at a specific place anymore, at a temple on a specific mountain. We can worship him in a booth, like.
Yeah, I mean, we're worshiping God right now by just doing a mini lesson thingy, you know? And another thing that, like, I don't want to go into another tangent on this because we did a whole video about this. We thought it was going to be 12 minutes. It was 48 or something. Another proof of existence of God is the complexity of things. Water, that scientists don't completely understand it because water should not be as complicated and as unique as it is compared to every other, not every other, but other like chemical compounds. Because water is just very strong in a sense, but it's weak.
It's weird. Water's weird, dude.
Like the chemistry behind it is very unique, and I don't know, but it's not living. We have the living water.
Yeah. Do you have anything else? I don't either.
I mean, I got a last question, you know. So, the question of today's video was, what is living water? The question to end it with is, do you have the living water?
Ooh. Ooh. Nice. Yeah, are you the living water like you're supposed to be? Alright. We love you guys. We'll see We'll see you on Wednesday night tomorrow at 7. Enjoy. See y'all later.